We live in the Indian Republic. The Indian Republic. We live in a country that has now become fourth largest economy on this world. It is celebrated as a great fact, but there cannot be a more grim fact than this. For alongside this fact, another fact has been deliberately and purposefully omitted by a certain group of people, a certain sector of our society from public knowledge: wealth inequality. You see, India becoming the fourth largest economy really doesn't matter much if the street hawker is still in suffering the same way his father was 20 years ago, and his father before him 40 years ago, and his great grandfather in the 1940s. Does it really matter if it's not going to touch the common people? The taxes of the middle class is increasing year by year. The purchasing power of the middle class is decreasing year by year. And the middle class as a whole is shrinking year by year. Yet, our economy, our GDP has grown. But the common man's life has not grown in the same trajectory. Now, who can we blame for this? A certain sector of society. That's sector of society whom, if we send on a long vacation to the Maldives, we buy them a one-way ticket and send them all to Sri Lanka. Who won't be missed? That one sector of society is at blame for this. Why? Because we entrusted public administration, governance, and looking for the welfare of this country to that certain sector of society. And they have failed to produce any results. Everything you see today, everything you see as a sign of change, as a sign of growth, as a sign of development, is not due to them. Is not at all due to that certain sector of society. No. It was due to the common people's force and perseverance from the past 80 years to push for a better growth. It is common sense. Every single country on this planet has been increasing and growing, just at matters of different rates, and some better at hiding the rots than other. We are successful in hiding that rot. Not we, actually, that certain sector of society. It is for that reason that I'm advising all of us to keep our ears open, cut through the lies, and see what is really happening. That certain sector of society has been profiting from more than 8 years. Indeed, we can date many of their roots back to the colonial era. These were the people who, while the common man died in mass famines, engineered by the governance, were the ones who profited, sitting on a kurchi made of velvet and silk, smoking a hookah, wearing thick gold necklaces and gold rings on their fingers, while the fingers of the farmer were so skinny that there could be no flesh, just skin draped on a skeleton. Indeed, when the famines hit, the worst affected were the common man. Let us remember that during the Bengal famine and all the hundreds of famines that occurred during the colonial era, what kind of horrible life endured by the low classes. Indeed, cannibalism was widespread. Cannibalism. I want you to take into account what that means. Cannibalism, the act of eating, devouring, consuming the flesh of a fellow human, of a fellow neighbor, of a fellow father, fellow brother, and a fellow child. Indeed, they had to resort to horrific measures to survive. Unspeakable things occurred. Similarly, unspeakable things are occurring even to this day. Wealth inequality, unemployment, language issues, purposeful flaring of tensions between religious communities. And yes, right now it is not as bad as a famine. Yes. But you and I know what is coming and what the future holds. The future for our nation. You and I know what is it holding for us. No, not for the country as a whole. No, I'm not speaking about the rich. I'm not talking about the powerful. I'm not talking about the government. I'm talking about what happens to common men. You and me, the street hawker, the auto rickshaw driver, the office goer, the student who's at this moment studying hard for his 10th, trying to get his 97% because he believes, as his parents have told him, that once you get that 97%, your life is secured. Unemployment, wealth inequality are all signs of times that is unpleasurable, unpleasant, unfavorable, harsh times. When the Industrial Revolution came, an entire sector of society, not a minor one like the current sector that dominates us and oppresses us. No, 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 not a tiny one like the certain sector of the society, the menace of our society, our Indian society. No, no, no. But the artistry class, the weavers, the artisans, all of them extinguished in a flash. And let me remind you that that class was the one who died the most during the famines. That entire class was lost. There was no safety net. The government did not come to save them. The rich did not come to save them. The powerful did not sully their hands in the dirt to lift them up and save them from the disaster. No. It was brought about abruptly, not even slowly and gradually for the artisans or weavers to develop new skills and trades so they could shift comfortably in a new trade. No, no, no. What happened was it was abrupt. And in that abruptcy, millions have died, millions have lost, and millions have suffered. That was the dark side of the Industrial Revolution. And we are at such an important time once again. Artificial intelligence is here to stay and is here to change this world and our country, maybe for the benefit or maybe for the worse. But one thing is for sure that the common man, me and you, have no safety backups. We do not have a big lump sum of cash hidden in our mattress, behind our walls, and hidden under the tiles or in the ceiling. We do not have that sort of luxuries. No, no, no. We do not have crores of money hidden in a Swiss bank account. No. We do not have hundreds of crores in an offshore bank account. No. And most of all, we do not have a voice strong enough to be heard because the voice of the common man is never heard in newspaper. It is only what this politician says to this one and that politician says to that other one. Now, in such a case, do you think anyone is going to come save us? Do you think that there will be a backup net? Yes, backup nets exist, but not for us, not for this class, not for the auto rickshaw driver, not for the chaiwala, not for the office goer, and not for the security guard. No. If you are not part of the 1% of society, hard times are going to come. Hard times are going to come. And it's going to come the hardest on you, the 99% of society. But we can change that. Just like how the Industrial Revolution created so many new trades and professions like the factory worker, I believe the AI revolution sure will do. However, we as a people must take the change that is deliberately being withdrawn by that certain sector of society who wishes for things not to move forward and keep alive their old and silly tensions, such as this man has a different surname, this man has a different surname, both of them have to fight it out. No, all of us must remember that we are all in this together, and all of us must come on top of this AI revolution, of this epoch in time, this twisting point in history. We must not pull down each other. We have pulled down each other enough in political parties, castes, religions, ideologies, classes. Enough of that. We must remember that the world does not discriminate who you are based on what language you speak, where you're from. No. If you do not have a backup net, then you are in big trouble. The backup net should be provided by the government. After all, that is the reason why in the constitution it is written, we, the people, give ourselves this government. So the government should work for us, not we try to work for the 1% of society trying to reach their level. No, they should lift us up. That is what should happen. That is the purpose of the government. Good governments for the people. Now, this 1% of society tries to keep us distracted, tries to believe that we have a choice, we have democracy. Well, you know what is happening, the commotion that's happening currently in northern India, vote chori and the such. May be true, may be false. But even if it's true, do you think many people will be surprised? Because India is not a democratic country. No, not at all even close to true democracies such as in the West, which we seem to emulate, which is what our constitution was based upon of. No, so much, so much. Because was the elections? Where was the democracy when in the 2000s, early 2000s in Bihar, when such violence was unleashed? Where was the democracy then? Where was the democracy when hundreds of Bangladeshi immigrants and thousands of them flooded Assam and caused mass problem for the native Assamese over there? Where was the democracy then? Where was the democracy when the government decided to impose certain languages over on top others? Where is the democracy when certain states are being preferred over others and given more attention by the central government than others? And most importantly, where is the democracy for holding those people who hide money in their mattresses, in their walls, and bringing them to true justice? And talking about justice, let's all remember that court case where a certain high court judge was accused of having crores of money hidden. That is the state of our justice system also. So as you can see, that the entire system complements each other. I'm corrupt, you are corrupt. Let's help each other. The only person losing out of this beautiful deal of mutual benefit is the one of whom all the money is being siphoned out of so these deals can occur. And I mean, it is the taxpayer, especially since GST And especially since online payment has increased, every single one is paying the price. For every single scanning you do, every single payment you make at the market, or say you go buy some vegetables, tarkaris, that is all paying a tiny percentage to the government. And with billion people, you know how it all accumulates to one big piece of chunk of money, which we have trusted into the government's hands to benefit us. But we all know from two sides it is being siphoned by this guy, that politician, that contractor, that judge, and all of those characters. It was on that reason we were fed up in 2013. Remember, 2013 was an important year. We were so fed up with the so many scams, thievery, and we were just disappointed in the scams that happened in the UPA government. Indeed, that was the time when Mr. Anna Hazare, a true leader against corruption, started a rally, protest that was indeed spectacular and was large scale, designed and brought through by the people demanding an end to this corruption. And from that, the Aam Aadmi Party was born. Again, if you see their symbol, it is the broom to clean the filth, metaphorically. And it was in that light of spirit in 2014 we elected a certain man who, during the elections, promised that he would bring back the black money from abroad, and that through demonetization, all the black money will be caught. But we all know that it has failed. Demonetization failed. There's a reason why not a single news channel, not a single YouTuber, and anyone is speaking about demonetization, even though it just happened 9 years ago. 9 years is not a long period of time. 9 years ago, it's a recent thing, and it is one of the most major policies. In fact, one can even dare say the most major and powerful policy ever implemented by this certain character, this certain man. Yet no one talks about it, because if it was something truly an achievement, it would be on every billboard, it would be on every newspaper, and everywhere mentioned alongside that person's face. Where you literally can see his face in every place. You open the newspaper, his face is there. You go to a grocery shop, his face is there. You see a children's school bag, his face is there. Everywhere. If it was something truly to be proud of, that word would be there alongside it. But it's not there. And that's all we need to know. We need to know that there is no safety net. The government is our rightful safety net. That is the entire reason why a government is created, and they are not fulfilling that duty. Once again, the problem here is ourselves, our ignorance of the matter, and our distraction. But I believe we can certainly overcome this. If we overcame the British, we overcame the tyrannical Mughals, we overcame the sultanates before that, we overcame the Greeks all the way 2000 years ago, all the invaders, all the oppressors. I am sure we can once again triumph, because our people has a long history of enduring, no matter how long it takes, against oppressors, no matter where they're from Greece, Central Asia, from England, and now from our own states. We will triumph. We have shown that capability, and we surely can triumph once again. For we have a long history of perseverance, and it will certainly not be broken by this certain sector of society. We have faced more formidable enemies in the past, and we have won. We have beat the world's largest empire with all the resources at our disposal. You think we cannot bring about change? We can bring about change. But first, we must realize about what change we actually need. That is the meaning of this video. First, realize that we need a change.